What is up, you guys? My name is Megan Gersch. This is the first installment of mini website reviews, all for the month of February. I'm going to be helping 100 small business owners. I have my little tracking sheet right here. Once we get some businesses in the mix, I'm going to write them down here so that way we can keep track of all of them. But if you haven't seen my most recent post, I'm on a mission to help 100 small businesses this month. So if you want me to take a look at your website and give you some actionable feedback, please do drop your website into the chat. Make sure to spell out .com, like DOTCOM. Otherwise, it won't show up in the chat for me at all. TikTok likes to block websites to avoid you going to other sites off the app. So you have to spell out .com, DOTCOM. And if you drop your website in the chat, I will give you a few actionable tips. Hi guys, thanks for joining. I see some people are popping in now. If you guys haven't seen, I just published a video a little while ago, but I'm on a mission this month to help 100 small businesses, which may be crazy. I'm planning on going live every single day in February for, at least half an hour. Probably more like an hour each day. But I want to go live every single day to help as many businesses as we can. So let me know if you're up for a mini website review in order to submit your website for review. Hello. In order to submit your website, just drop it into the chat, but you have to spell out .com, like DOTCOM. Otherwise, it will not show up in the chat for me. So if you're interested in that, drop your website into the chat and I can get some of these going. Okay, so 1111vibes.com. I got yours. Anybody else? I want to tee up some of these so that way I can go through a few of them at a time. Go Tolstoy.com. All right, I got that one. Ooh, interesting. Cool. RoyalSweetMix.com. I got that one. So the cool thing about these two is that you're able to kind of like, even if it's not your website that we're doing, you can also always learn from other people as we're going. So, best practices are pretty standard across the board. So ruralmagic.com, I got yours. Let me see. I got to spell that correctly. Magic.com. And treats for the face. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Treatsfortheface.com. All right, I'm going to get rolling on these first. And if you join a little bit late, feel free to join into the chat. But I am going to wait to take more requests until I'm done with these. So stay tuned. And I'm going to turn the screen around here so that you guys can see. Let me hit the button. I haven't done this in a while. They keep flipping things and moving things around. So, okay. So first up, we have 1111 Vibes. So the first thing that I'm going to say about this website is that there's some strange watermarking that's going on in this pop-up image. And maybe you did that on purpose because I do know that these types of businesses have had issues with like people stealing designs and stuff like that. However, it kind of dings the professionalism of the site. The other thing that I'll say, I love that you're kind of highlighting the 20% off your order. I think that's a great use of that. I wonder if there's a way that you can infuse a bit more of your brand into this. So like make it kind of a bit more to how you would speak for your brand. Okay, let me make this a little bit narrower so that you guys can see. Okay. So, a few different issues that I'm seeing right off the bat here. This logo is screaming Canva to me. you definitely want to get some custom branding in place, because that's just going to help with like the credibility of the site. It's also getting cut off, so I definitely would look at the height of this container to make sure that it's not getting cut off there. The other thing that I wanted to say too about this hero area is that I think you can make something that's way more impactful than you have now. You can see that this text is kind of getting cut off here with the the background image, which is making it a little bit hard to read the white on white. And I think it could just be a little bit more exciting than what you have right now. Like, you obviously have like these really intricate designs. Like, is there a way that you could integrate some of this type of a vibe into the background? So just making that a bit more exciting and inviting. And then as I'm kind of scrolling down here, I think that this homepage just needs a bit of design. And I know that's kind of vague advice, but like, I would say take a look at other people in your niche to see what they're doing as far as like how they are laying out their website. So like, you might see at the very top of their website, they have this hero image. And then if you scroll down, you might have like a bestseller section or something like that. But it feels like it just needs a bit of design work, I think, because the green is a bit jarring. It doesn't feel like it aligns with like the rest of your brand. Like the green and this peach, I think, is like a part of your brand as well. So that's what I would say there. So let me know if that was helpful in the chat. And I'm also going to add you to my little list here. So we're going to put, you are the first one on the list. 1111vibes.com. Very cool. Thank you so much for letting me review your website. Okay, so I'm going to roll right into the next one. Yes, so I have a few in the queue right now, but I will be taking more requests once I finish these out. So stay tuned. You can also learn from the other folks that are getting their websites reviewed here as well. So let's see. So use video to get personal with every customer. Oh, interesting. This website looks really good. Let me see. One thing I would say, this is a very small thing, is that this flow is getting like a little bit, it kind of flows all together, where we want to make sure that this section here is kind of divided. So that way, as the user kind of scrolls down the page, like visually, we need to understand that this is a new section. And right now it's kind of just blending in because we all have that same background color throughout these different sections. So I would just give this a different background color, just to make it stand out a little bit more. Lots of motion, which is great. That's like one of the most underutilized pieces of a website is like people don't integrate video, which I think can be so powerful. I mean, you can see how engaging this is when you're just browsing the website. One thing I will say, sorry, I'm just kind of taking it in as I'm scrolling down. A lot of the sections of this site are a bit interactive with like my mouse over, which can be a little bit confusing unless it's a clickable item. And so obviously these are clickable, so that's great. But I noticed that like up here, some of these items are interactive. However, it's like, see how like this, like when I scroll over or when I scroll down, like this is like scrolling. Motion usually indicates some kind of opportunity for interactivity. And so I just would keep that in mind, like as you are, like you don't want to overdo it with the animations and stuff like that. Let's check out the SEO here. So this plugin that I'm using right here is called the Detailed SEO extension. It's completely free. You can grab it in a Chrome store. Let's see here. This title definitely needs work. I would put the name of your brand at the beginning of the SEO title. So essentially the title is what is going to show up on Google when somebody searches for your brand. And you obviously want your branding to be kind of like front and center. So I moved that to the front. And then I'm wondering if there's another way to integrate more keywords here. The length is fine, but I think like you could get more specific with like what add video commerce to your site with one click. Like I wonder if you could integrate different keywords in there to make it even more searchable. Let's see here. Okay, this is definitely something to check out here. So I just flipped over to the images tab, and this is showing 231 images on your page without alt text, which is a huge thing when it comes to accessibility for the site. This is also going to impact your Google search ranking. So essentially what alt text is it tells folks that are using screen readers or those that are visually impaired, if they're reading your website with some kind of device, they can understand what the images actually are without having to visually see them. So I definitely get that updated. But yeah, I mean, this is looking really, really good. Last thing that I will say is that some of these areas have 2 buttons, which can be a little bit deterring when it comes to your conversion rates. You always want to give the customer one option if you can, just because like if I'm going through the site, like I want you to guide me. Like you are supposed to be, you know, guiding me through what your business is. What do you want me to do? It's probably this, since it's the blue button. I'm guessing that that's your number 1 call to action. And this could certainly go somewhere else on the page, but we always want to think about like, how can I make it easier for the customer by only giving one call to action? So let me know if that's helpful. I'm going to catch up on the comments here for a second. Love the video. Me too. Great visuals. I agree with that too. The plugin is free. It's called the Detailed SEO extension. Let's see. So the alt text piece of that will also impact your Google ranking. So it's just best practice to optimize your site and make it accessible. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and add you to my list right here. So, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm going to make it to 100? It's definitely going to be a challenge, I think. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to keep on rolling. Let's see. So Royal Sweet Mix, you are up. So first thing I will say is that your header is taking up way too much vertical space. This should only be about, I don't know, 20-ish% of your the top of your page, because right now you're essentially pushing all of your products down. Okay, refresh. Let me see here. Okay, still same issue. So what I would say is like you have to reduce this space here. That might also mean reorganizing your categories here to shorten things up a bit, right? Essentially your top navigation should only be like your main categories that you're offering. So like, you know, pick and mix, maybe bundles, American candy. You could even do like drop downs. But I would definitely figure out a way to kind of like shorten up this navigation so that number 1, it all fits on one line. And it's also going to help to make it a bit easier to shop. Other thing I will say is that The logo, I would remove it from this bounding box and just have the text and the icon just sit on the white background. I don't know if you have another version of your logo where it's just like the crown is a different color, but I would just have it sit on the white background. It's going to make it look a lot cleaner. Build your own pick and mix. So the other thing that I'll say here, I love that you have this big banner. However, I do have a few critiques. I can tell by this font that this text is actually embedded in this image. And so what I mean by that is you basically went into Canva or Photoshop and you put the text into the image. And this is not text that Google can read, essentially. So this is not going to be able to be indexed by Google. Which is a problem when it comes to both accessibility as well as your search engine rankings. So what I would suggest is going back into your Canva document, taking out the text, and then overlay, like putting just the image of, these candies on either side, overlaying the text on top of the image within your website, because this is going to make your text readable by Google. And you can also add the button as well. The last critique that I will have of this banner is that click here, the term click here is extremely outdated. Like I'm talking like from the 90s. So we really want a more actionable call to action. So we want like buy now, add to cart, something that tells the user exactly what is going to happen when they click here, right? I'll give you one more tip too, once I scroll down. So yeah, click here all throughout the website. You need to change that everywhere. Okay, so if these are, so the one thing I was looking for that I didn't see are testimonials, like product reviews. These are in quotes, so I don't know if these are actually quotes from customers, but if they are, they definitely need to be styled a bit differently so that they actually look like reviews. Definitely recommend adding a photo of each of the people that have given these reviews, if they are reviews. If they're not reviews, you definitely got to get reviews added to the bottom of your page, because that helps to build trust with your customers. And it ultimately helps people to decide whether they want to buy from you or not. So let me know if that was helpful. I know I missed a bunch of the chat, so I'll review it here in a second. But first, we got to add you right here. Okay, guys, we're 3 in. Please tap the screen if you're enjoying this live. Share it with your friends. If you have business besties, you got to get them in here so they can get all this good info. So number 3, we're 3 out of 100. Let me know in the chat if you think I'm going to make it to 100. I feel like going live every day is a very big commitment. So Lone Star Chick, I don't know if you're still here, but I have a few in the queue right now. I'm going to open up more submissions here after I finish these. Shopify will let you overlay that text depending on your theme. Do you have any picks for perfect landing pages? Not really. I mean, when it comes to landing pages, you really just need to make sure that your navigation is hidden and that you essentially you're just pushing to one product. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the next one. So if you're just joining, we're doing some website reviews. I'm on a mission to do help 100 businesses in February. And so right now I'm doing some website reviews. I have 2 more in the queue, and then I will start to take new submissions for other websites. The best part is you can definitely learn from other people's websites and, take in this amazing information and apply it to your own. So hang tight if you want your website reviewed, and I will get right back to it. Okay, so let's talk about this site. So the first thing that is kind of jumping out at me is, my question to you is signing up for your newsletter the most important thing for you? Or is it to contact you? Is it to book a product? Is it to book a service? It's just a little bit unclear what the purpose of this website is right now, like right off the bat. I might recommend adding a hero area that kind of like throws to one of your products or your services to make it a bit more clear as to what I'm going to get. Because right now, all of this content down here, it all kind of has like the same weight, has the same colors, has the same, basically has the same weight throughout the page. And it's not really like, nothing's really popping out at me, if that makes sense. So I would, number one, get really clear on what the purpose of your website is. It looks like you offer services as I'm kind of scrolling down. So maybe you have, if you have one of these services that is kind of like your signature service, I would definitely put that in the top. So yeah, I think the main piece of feedback for this homepage is that it needs a bit of design. So I would take a look at, like, even if you just went to Google and typed in, spiritual readings, right? Like, you could get probably 50 or so sites that, the top ranking sites on Google, to see what those look like. Like, how are they structured? What kind of images do they have? This page is also quite text heavy, and I would recommend adding more images here, just to kind of break up the text a bit and make it a bit more digestible. Images are essentially going to help to draw the website visitor's eye around. You can use them to kind of call out to special promotions or, those kinds of things as well. Let me take a look at the About page, because I don't think we've looked at any About pages so far. Okay, so this is great. It shows you a little bit of text about you. I love that you've included a photo here too. One thing that I would say, and this is kind of like a thing when it comes to About pages, is that they often become dead ends on a website. And so we always want to make sure that we're including a call to action at the bottom of the page, whether that be at the bottom of the bio, follow me on social media, click the button to, or book a reading now, something like that. Like, what do you want them to do next? You just don't want this to become a dead end. One other critique that I would say of this page is that it seems a little light when it comes to text. And I don't mean that in color sense. I mean that in a content, quantity sense. Let me do a quick check here. Okay, somehow this page is showing as 1,700 words, which I feel like that's not right. But unless there's like pieces of the page that are like hidden or something. But I would do a word count for this. Google needs at least 300 words on the page in order to index it. And so I would definitely take a look at every single page on your website to make sure that you're hitting that minimum. Let me give you one last tip here. Okay, so one last tip for these product or service pages. This is a little bit confusing just because this is you're just kind of saying these are your open hours, but it's $0. So that is a little bit confusing. Let me go to this actual product here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a glitch that's happening on the website or something, but it's saying that this event has ended and it's not letting me even put in to cart one of these things. So I don't know, that might be something to check. Might be either a bug or some kind of availability thing, but definitely would kind of recommend taking a look at what are the benefits of this? What kind of clarity can somebody get from doing one of these? And really thinking about how can that benefit the customer, right? And really figuring out how you can display that on the page where it makes it extremely clear how you're going to, help them. So let me know if that was helpful. I think I'm going to add you to the list here. Rural Magic. I think it's .square. .site. I feel like it had a domain name, but that's what it's showing up with now. Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you're just joining in right now, we're doing some website reviews. If you're enjoying this information, please do continue to tap the screen. It helps to push it out on the FYP. And I want to jump right into helping this next business owner. So let me see here. Treats for the face. Oh my gosh, I don't want to get banned. I'm going to scroll down, guys. Let's see. Treats product. Let's see. Question for you. Is there a reason that I would experiment? Well, this is not a question, I guess. One suggestion that I would have is to make some of these sections have white backgrounds. I think that this would look a lot cleaner, especially for the, skincare. You want it to feel very like fresh and clean. I know that pink is obviously one of your brand colors, but like you can use it like you're using it here. I think is a much more effective way to use it, for your buttons. But I think like alternating, like if this were pink and then this were white, like this would pop so much more. The other thing that I will say is that these headers need to be a bit more bold. So like once I hit the top of this section, it should be super apparent that we're hitting a new section, right? Like right now the text is kind of small, it's kind of generic. I see you're using in like some of these other promos, like you're using some of these like very stylized fonts. Like, are you able to use those as some of your headers? I would give you the same feedback as I gave the other website. I don't know if you were still here for that, but this text is definitely embedded in this image, and so Google won't be able to read that. So instead, would love to see you overlaying the text over top of the image. One other thing that I will tell you too is that the headers throughout the page should all be styled the same. So notice how this font is different from this font. It should be super, super clear when you're hitting a different section that like all of those should be styled the same. One last thing here, this booking button, that we should turn this into a button so that it's way more apparent than the link. Sorry, I'm just taking a look at the other things. And one last tip I'll give you too, and this is kind of in the same kind of vein where we said like all of the headers should look the same. All of the buttons should also look the same. So I noticed that you're using like pink buttons up here, but then you have an outlined style here. And so we just want to make sure that it's consistent throughout the page. I want to try to see if I can get to a different page. I just don't want to scroll back up to that image because I don't want to get banned. You gotta warn me. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's see. I don't know. I can't get to the other pages from the footer. That would be another thing. Let's try to get here. Okay, so this is... I am live. Welcome. Okay, so just taking a look at the product page here. One other thing that I will say, and I noticed this before I started scrolling down the page, but I didn't have a chance to comment on it, is that the logo is kind of sitting in this pink bounding box. I don't know if that is intentional. I would remove the bounding box just so that it kind of sits on that nice pink background. I think it would look a lot cleaner. And then I I think I would change, I don't know if you have an option within your Shopify theme, but I would definitely change your product page layout to maybe just be like product on one side and details on the other side. And it doesn't have to, it could be either way, honestly. But the 3 columns is like kind of a lot visually. And so you really want to, I always go back to like, how can we guide our customers? Like, how can we make things as easy as possible? Because right now, it's almost like these 3 things are kind of competing a bit. So we want to make sure that it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel overwhelming to the customer. But I do like that you have, for most of your products, you have this consistent white background. It's like very clean looking, which is kind of the vibe that you want for a product like this. So let me know if that is helpful. I'm going to add you to the list. My gosh, guys, we've already done 5. Isn't that crazy? All right, let's see. Number 5, treats for the face. I love the name of your business. .com. Woohoo! All right, I'm gonna turn this around really quick and just chat with you guys again. Hi. All right. Let me see. I missed a bunch of comments, so let's see. Thanks for the follow, the Jungle Gym. If you're just joining, hi, my name is Megan. I'm a website designer. I've been a website designer for over 16 years at this point. And one of my goals for February is to help 100 small businesses with their websites. So I'm doing some mini website reviews right now, and I'm planning on going live every single day in February until I hit this goal. So, yes. So I'm going to open the floor now for, hi guys. Oh my gosh. I'm seeing some friendly names in here too, so that's awesome. So if you want me to take a look at your website and give you some feedback, I'm now opening the floor, aka the comment section, for if you want to submit your website, just drop it into the chat. Just make sure to spell out .com. Otherwise, I will not be able to see it. So I'm going to start with fitnessmanifest.com. Manifest.com. I'm going to get a few kind of teed up here, and then slanted microgreens, slantedmicrogreens.com. The Jungle Gym, if you want to submit yours, happy to look at it. Okay, so Gretchen, wait a minute, slanted microgreens, that one is not coming up. So if you want to try slanted, oh wait, maybe I missed a letter in there. Slant Dr. Microgreens? Okay. Maybe that's not how you say it, but that's the way that I read it. Okay, Gretchen. Otero.com, let me see. Oh, perfect, a photography site. Sunflower Sugar Art.com. Let me see. Meow Avenue.com. Painted Page. Oops. And then Veed. Isn't Veed like a video company? Okay, so I'm going to start off with these. I have 7 already on deck. So I'm going to go ahead and do these. Please continue to tap the screen if you are enjoying this information. Again, we're already 5 websites in out of the 100, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. I feel like we're maybe gonna exceed this goal. So let's go into it. Let's do it right now. Okay, let me see. Okay, so we're starting off with Fitness Manifest. I'm just taking a look at the home page here. Okay, so I will say, first vibe that I'm getting from this homepage, it feels design-wise a bit dated. These kind of like drop shadow bevels, quite a bit of like the design style there is a little bit dated. The logo feels a bit like a Canva logo. And so I think that alone is hurting your credibility. So that, I know that that's not super specific advice, but something that is a bit more clean, modern, and avoiding kind of like these like shadows, as well as, you know, I see there's like it's almost like a double shadow going on with this text here. This is actual text, and that is the way that you can kind of check for that, guys. If you were here before when we were talking about, oh, is the text actually within the image? If you can highlight it on the page like this, that means it's overlaid text, which is a good thing. You want it to be highlightable on the page like this. The other thing that I will say is that you need a little bit of work when it comes to this top area. Just because fitness manifest doesn't mean a whole lot to me as somebody who's coming here for the first time. So what is fitness manifest? Is it a workout plan? Is it a coaching program? Are you a personal trainer? I don't know what that means. So getting a bit more specific with what the service actually is going to be helpful for first-time visitors of the website. Not to mention, you already have the name of the company up here, so there's not really a need to repeat it down here. Similarly, people ultimately care about what they can get from you. And this may sound a little harsh, but it's like they care less about the method and more about the outcome. So think about like, what is the ultimate promise that your business and your brand is delivering? So maybe that is, I don't know, lose 30 pounds in a month or something like that. Maybe it's feel more confident in your body. I see that some of these promises are coming through down here, right? We want that to be kind of front and center, because ultimately when I hit this page, this is the content that my eye is drawn to first. So this is what's going to make the most impact. I would definitely move your photo further down on the page. It should even be like the last thing if you want to include it on your home page. Like I said, people care about results and less about how they're going to get there. The other thing that I will say too is that, like, we're hitting this page. I haven't even discovered what this service is going to be. Is it yoga? Is it fitness? Is it a meal plan? But then you're also asking me to book a call. So why would I go through this method of booking the call when I don't even know what the service is yet? So I think that needs to get a little bit more clear first, pushing that information a bit higher on the page before you're asking people to take action. That's not to say that you certainly could include you certainly could include like a button up in this top area that links to like the booking page, something to that effect. But I think it just needs a bit more fleshing out of like what this service actually is. Like, what do I get as the person who is buying? There's not enough reason here yet for me to hit the purchase button. Okay, so we're going down to the testimonials here. One thing that I'll say, when it comes to testimonials, they should be a lot more scannable. Think about like, read this paragraph, and what is like the power statement that you can grab out of this statement that is really going to move the needle for you. So let me take a look here. So let's just say that this is like the motivating statement here, right? I love that she's very knowledgeable. You can take that text and make it a lot bigger so that way it stands out on the page more, so that it catches my eye as the viewer. Because right now, it's all kind of the same weight. We need a power statement to really jump out at us, because no one is honestly reading every single word of your website. It's one of those things where people scan to find the information that they need. And that's why it's so important to structure your website properly to get your points across. The other thing that I will say with these testimonials is that if you're able to add photos of the people that have given these testimonials, that would be extremely helpful. It's going to help to humanize your brand. It's going to help to, if I'm considering working with you, it shows me the face of somebody who has actually worked with you. So that helps a lot. I'll give you one last tip here. The other thing that I keep noticing when I'm kind of scrolling the homepage is that it feels, from a branding perspective, a little disjointed. So here we've got like yellows and oranges. Here we've got greens. We scroll down, we've got white. We've got this dark charcoal. We've got brown. I'm not sure if you have a brand guide in place, and this would be extremely helpful if you don't already have one in place, because these are the types of things where you nail down these types of decisions first before jumping into website design. If this is something you want to talk about, I'm happy to help you out with that. It's something that I help out my clients with. But yeah, it just needs more cohesion from like a branding perspective. See, like here, this is what I'm talking about too. Like this is a font. This is like another font. Here's another one. Here's another one. It really should only be like 2 to 3 fonts total. A handful of colors, just to make it look a bit more cohesive. So those are my tips. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to add you to the old list over here. Fitness manifest.com. Perfect. So let me see, I missed like all the comments. Sorry, guys. If you're entering your website into the chat, I already have quite a few in the queue. But once I'm done, I will see what time we're at to see if I can take more. So if you're just joining, my name is Megan. I am a web designer. I've been doing this for over 16 years. And I have a goal to help 100 different businesses in February. So we've already done 6, as you can see here. These are the 6 that we've done so far. And I'm just going to jump right into the next one. I'd love to know more info on what service you recommend. The branding would be the first best step for you. Okay. So I'm jumping right into this one. What are microgreens? Find out. Are microgreens? Hello, hello. Okay, so the first thing that I'm noticing, this needs to be a little bit more punchy. What is your number one goal when somebody gets to your website? Is it for them to learn about microgreens? If so, this is great. But if it's something where, if your goal is for them to buy something or to learn something or to buy a course or, any of those things, I might recommend that you change this out to something else. The other thing that I will say is that these 2 sections are kind of butting up against this top hero banner. And I can see that they're different sections, but they need to be a bit more contrasting. And I don't know that this layout is particularly effective. I'm wondering if maybe you could break these out into like box 1, box 2, and have them in 2 columns or something like that. I would nix this altogether. I just did a video on this, but like welcome messages need to be banned from websites. People do not care about being welcomed. They only care about what they can get from you. Okay, this is another thing that I will say about the structure of the website. Sorry, my light just like fell over. Another thing that I'll say about the structure of the website is that you're essentially saying like, what are microgreens? And then you're saying like, back to me. You're saying like, oh, I don't care about what you want. I want you to learn about me. So again, thinking about what do the customers want, right? Like, what are they coming to this website for? Because right now you're pointing it back at yourself instead of trying to serve them. So think about that. And again, like join our newsletter. Why? Why should I join your newsletter? What do I get? Because it doesn't tell me. Sign up for updates is not enticing enough for me to give you my email address. Sign up for updates has been outdated for a long time. So, something like save 10% on your first order, or, get a free product with your free gift with your first order, or, first access to this event that we have coming up on Saturday. Those are more enticing things that you could talk about. Move your social media to the footer if you don't already have it there. Doesn't need to be a section on the page. Photo gallery, I'm not really sure how this is adding value. Again, I'm still not, like, I'm not sure by looking at your homepage, like, what is the point of this site? Is it an e-commerce site? Because it's not clear from the homepage. So I definitely think it needs some work when it comes to like clarity, getting really clear on like what you want people to do, and then structuring the homepage around that. I do have a few videos that might be helpful to you. I have this one video that I'm thinking of where it's specifically for service providers, but it might be helpful to you to even look at that to kind of like at least get the structure of the website, kind of down. It's not going to be exact if your main goal is e-commerce, but it will start to give you some ideas. Yeah, maybe I'm just unclear on what this website, like the main goal is, because these aren't clickable. I can't buy these right off the bat. Maybe it's just like you can only buy if you like wholesale. I'm not really sure. Not completely sure. Anyway, that's what I would say for this website. Let me know if that's helpful. I'm going to add you to this list. Slanted microgreens.com. Okay, so if you're just joining, yes, I'm doing some live website reviews. I do have some in the queue already, but if we have time, I will ask for more submissions. So submissions are closed right now, and let's jump into the next review. Okay, so Gretchen, let me know if you're still here in the chat, please. And if you guys are enjoying this information, please do continue to tap the screen. Helps to push this out on the FYP and get more reach, and I would very much appreciate it. Suggestion for homepage catering to multiple audiences. For that, I would say, like, are you a photographer or are you a business, right? And give them two options, like choose your own adventure, A or B. Sometimes in those cases, like, people should have two separate websites, but I'd have to take a look at it to really make a recommendation. Okay, first thing I'll say, your logo is going to be hard for some folks to read. I don't know how accessible this font is right off the bat. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about folks that use screen readers to read websites. So this can impact your search engine optimization, your Google ranking, and also just affecting like kind of like your best practices on your website, making sure that your website is accessible to everyone. The second thing that I will say is that you can nix this home button. People know to click on the logo at this point in time to go back to the homepage. I do love that you have this button up in the top right corner. That is the most actionable piece of your page. And so it's great that you have a big button there to kind of draw the attention there, because that's essentially what you want people to do. So that's great. Authentic and natural portraits of people, pets, and moments you'll want to remember forever. So the only thing I would say with this is a great jumping off point. What I might suggest is overlaying it on this image somehow. So like maybe putting it off to the side. You might need to switch out the image to something else, so that way most of the image portion is on the right and maybe your text lays on the left. But at this point, like, this text is kind of all blending together, and I would love to see something a bit more designerly there. I do like that you have it above the fold, which is meaning before I start scrolling on the page, so that you get to the point right away with what this website is going to be about. All right. Okay. So I love the site until I hit this blue area. This really feels quite dated to me. It feels like it needs some design work. Maybe we can think about like how we can place this in like 3 columns, or use like, or if we're doing columns, like maybe like a photo on top of each column, thinking about how you can lay that out a bit differently. The other thing is, like, I'm just noticing that this is like a bit, well, never mind. One other thing that I'm noticing here is that there's a lot of fonts going on this website. So you can see that this is one here, this is one here, this is another one here, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's a lot going on. Reduce your fonts down to 2 to 3. Again, if you don't have a brand guide in place, this is going to be a great place to start. Again, if this is something that you need help with, I'm happy to help. Just reach out to me via my Stan store. This is something that I help my clients with all the time. The galleries, pets and their people. I almost feel like these should be further up on the page, because again, thinking about like, what do people actually want? They want to see samples of your work so that they know, they can understand, like, are you the right person for them? Like, what do your samples look like? Because these are the results, right? These are the results that you can get for somebody. Right now I have to go, so look at all the scrolling I have to get to the results. Some people will not make it this far. So definitely push those up on the page. And yeah, like as I'm scrolling down, like these sections need a bit more design help, maybe integrating some images to break up those that text block a bit. See, this is what I'm talking about with the columns. See how much nicer this looks than this. Just a lot more clean. Okay, last thing I will say is that I would definitely add a background color to your footer, and then also do some columns down here. So see how this is all centered. We need some guidance on like what to look at first, second, third, etc. We always want to be thinking about how we can guide our customers. And we do that through visual design, placement, the size of things, etc., etc. So let me know if that was helpful. I'm going to add you to the list over here. Ye old list. And I'm also going to grab some water. So, oh my gosh, we're already at number 8. This is going to be easy. I was doubting myself. Honestly, I was like, should I do this? I feel like this is going to be a difficult challenge. .com. Let me know if that was helpful to you, Gretchen. I hope it was. And if you guys like these types of tips, I do have a free website checklist you can check out. It's completely free. Go to my Stan store, grab that in exchange for your email address. And we're just going to dive into this next one. So I have sunflower sugar art up next. And So sign up and receive special discounts, newsletters, recipes, and more. 15% off. Okay, so again, we always want to go back to, what do my customers actually want? What do they actually want? I want the 15% off because that's a discount for me. So I would put, that's like your main draw, right? I don't care about signing up. I care about the 15% off. So you want to take that text and put it up here. Get 50% off in this top text, and then small text and receive everything else. So let me go into the rest of the site. Hey, premium logos. That's going to get you blocked. Sorry about that. So let's see. Sunflower sugar art. One question for you here from like a branding perspective. Make sure that this logo can work in one color, because right now there's a lot of different shades and stuff in here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit here. But there's a lot of different like shades and stuff in here where I don't think that will work in one color for the logo, which can be problematic down the line from a branding perspective. Just something to keep in mind there. Sprinkle shaker cookies. I'll give you the same advice that I gave to the other review as well, is that especially for this, we only want to give one option for the button. I see that some of these have two. Just want to guide our customers to one option. Similarly, I would only do one image here and not a carousel. Carousels are out. Most of the time, people won't even make it to the second or third slides. And so you often will see more conversion when you just have one promotion here. The other thing that I will say is that in some of these, you are doing a really good job of like explore the artist in you. It's like evoking that emotion. But some of these do need some work from like a copywriting perspective. Go to the other one. Like create to inspire. That's a great one. Although I would get like a bit more specific with like what this is. Like create, baking equipment, or, that's not a great, but like sprinkle shaker cookies that, make for a great family activity, or, that's not a great example, but it needs to be like a bit more flowery and also kind of, speak to what the products actually are. Other thing I was saying too is like, some of these feel very Christmassy, which it's February. Time to get the Christmas promotions off of the website. Okay. Very clean. I like it. The photos look great. Very consistent. I love that you're doing a mix too of like very like clean imagery with like kind of more like lifestyle imagery. Okay. So, one thing that I will say, I love the site, honestly, down here, until we start getting into from like here and below. You're kind of losing me here. One thing I will say, just from like a layout perspective, is like, you don't want to make your homepage to go on and on forever. You really would just want to think about what the most important things are that your customers might need. And those are the things that should go on the homepage. Like I would look at your stats to see like, are your blog posts even really like high converting, like on your homepage? Like how many people are clicking on these? Not to mention it does look a little bit empty right now because there's only one displaying here. So if there's, if you don't have at least 3 to fill out the page, I would just remove this area for now until you have more. I don't even know that you necessarily need this on the homepage, to be honest, but if they are high converters for you, blog posts, especially on e-commerce sites, are more for SEO purposes. So let me go to one of your product pages because I don't think we have. Oh, so this is another thing too. I would definitely do a check on all of your your category pages, because you don't want to give your customers any dead ends like this. This is like really poor customer experience. If you don't have anything in that category, take the category away from the homepage, or the navigation, excuse me. Take the category away from the homepage, or sorry, I keep saying that, the navigation. And one last thing that I'll say here too about the navigation, there's a lot of different things here. I think you could cut down this navigation significantly. You don't really need About Us in the top navigation. You don't need Contact Us. You don't need Wholesale. You don't need FAQ, Store Policies. You can move those down to the footer navigation. Top navigation should be all about what the customer actually wants. So what does the customer actually wants? They want your products, right? Like they want to shop. So think about like how you can give that to them without a ton of scrolling, right? They shouldn't have to dig for what they're looking for. I do want to check out one of your, if I can get to a product page, I want to take a look at this. Okay. Let's see. Okay. This is okay. I think it definitely could be fleshed out a little bit more. You really want to, like, especially in your description, paint the picture of what this is going to mean for somebody. So this might seem like a little woo-woo, but like maybe somebody is using these to decorate cookies for the holidays with their family, and like it's like a tradition that, you know, moms always do with their daughters, and like they use these special like think about like what that picture is that you can paint for somebody. Put it in your description. The other thing that I will say, this is the last thing, sorry. The other thing that I will say is that all of these images should be the same dimensions. See how this one's it's a different orientation than this one. Should be all the same size for consistency and just to make your shop look much more professional. All right, that was a lot, but we did it. We did it. Okay. I'm gonna add you here. Sunflower, sugar art. Let me know if that was helpful. 9. We've done 9. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. So if you're just joining, my name is Megan. We're doing some live website reviews. I have 3 on deck right now. But I'm trying to do 100 website reviews in February. So far we've done 9. So I think we're going to hit that goal a lot faster than I thought. But yeah, the cool thing is like you can learn from other people too. So even if it's not your website, you know, you can learn from other people. Make sure to grab the free website checklist at the link in my bio. It's completely free. Grab that. It's got a lot more actionable tips in there. And we're going to keep going. Okay. So, Meow Avenue, let me know if you're still here. This top section down to the navigation is quite large. Definitely would recommend shrinking this quite a bit, just so that you can push your products up. You really want to aim for like, even like a little bit from here to here, honestly, on the page, because look how much space this is. Like it's a third of the page. I also might recommend, if you have a horizontal version of your logo, would recommend putting that in there. So that's going to help with the height part of this equation. Anytime you do branding, you should be getting multiple versions of your logo from your brand designer. So, love is in the air. So much you love your feline with our meow kisses and limited collection. Okay, I think this is a good start. This, I think, could be broken up maybe into 2 different blocks of text. So maybe like love is in the air and like smaller text, and then something that really calls out to that, the limited collection and larger text. Just to kind of break it up design-wise a bit. Catnip Heaven. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at the page really fast. Okay, one thing I will say, and I saw this on the other site too, I didn't comment on it, but the homepage is really all about like creating these like collections, right? There really shouldn't be any like single products like this on the homepage. And I know that there's a lot of Shopify templates that do this for whatever reason. It's not the best. I would much rather see you doing like these types of collections where it's like catnip, like dog treats, dog toys, all of the other things. Tasty treats. So same thing here. I would remove that. Same thing with this. There might be other ways that you can display your products as well. So like, obviously we have this 4 across kind of layout, but there are also ways to do, like in Shopify, you can do like different images where it has like the different collections. So it'd be like, maybe like cat treats and then like toys or like like the lick mats and stuff like that, like accessories, where it kind of calls out to the different collection pages. Might be a different way to kind of like break this up, because I know you have 3 different sections of this layout. Okay. This is like another instance of like the homepage kind of goes on forever. I think it could definitely be condensed. So one thing you definitely want to think about is what is the number one thing, and look at your stats too. Like, what is the number one thing that you, like your customers come here for? Is it a specific product? Is it a specific category? What are your number one hits on your website? And then I would order your homepage accordingly. But yeah, I think overall this homepage just needs a bit of love from a design perspective. Let's check out your SEO also. So again, if you weren't here earlier, this is a Google Chrome extension that I love to use. It's called the Detailed SEO extension. And you can see that there are a few opportunities here. This description is a little bit too long. And if you hover over these, it will give you, like if you install this on your browser, you can essentially get like the hot tip on like what to do. So I'd make this a little bit shorter. You can probably also get some more keywords in here. And then I would also try to get a few more keywords into the title. The title feels a little bit short. And then it also looks like there's a few images on the page without alt text. So I would definitely get that added just to make your page a bit more accessible to people. So let me know if that's helpful. I know I kind of went through a lot of stuff. I'm going to add you over here. Already done 10. meowavenue.com. I'm gonna grab some water too. All right. So let me know if that was helpful to you. And if you're just joining, we're just doing some live website reviews. I already have 2 in the queue. And even if it's not your website, you can still learn from other people's websites. Pretty much the best practices are the same across the board. So, yeah, let's jump into this next one. So, paintedpage.com. Right when I land on your website, I am not sure what this website is for. So that is a huge problem. Do you do artwork? Are you doing art lessons? Like, is this a personal website? Like, is it a portfolio? You need to make it clear what the purpose of the website is, right? Like, what is the ultimate service that you can offer? Because right now it's not very clear. Join my 50% off class closing sale. Okay, so I'm still at this point, I'm not sure what it is that you do. So I'm going to continue to keep looking Featured course. Okay, so you do courses. Mixed media. So I'm guessing that you like teach art is, I think, what I'm getting. Free watercolor demo. And you'll have to imagine too, like people that are coming to your website might have a similar experience where it's like, yes, I see a piece of art here, but this could really mean a bunch of different things when it comes to art. I love these 3 columns with the archways. It's kind of cool. Okay, so a few things. Aside from getting clear on like what the purpose of the website is, I think like straight out of the gate, like you're giving me full width section here, and then you're giving me a full width section here. Visually, I'd love to see this broken up a little bit more. So I know that like down here, you're getting into like 2 columns. Maybe this is something where you could do 3 columns across with like featured services or something like that, where it'd be like service 1, service 2, service 3. It doesn't have to be services. I'm just giving that as an example, but like maybe it's something where those are like your 3 featured things that you are really trying to sell, right? Maybe that's these 3 things here. Then maybe you could go back to like a full width. You just have to think about how you can see how nice this is when we go from 2 columns to 3 columns. It's just like the eye can breathe a little bit, and just like design wise, it sends that signal of like, okay, we've hit another section on the web page. So we always want to be thinking about how we can give those visual distinctions between sections. So same thing here. If you're using 3 across here, you want to do a different layout here. Okay. So maybe this has just 2 blocks, or you could do 4 across or something like that. And same thing here. Another really nitpicky thing is that I'm seeing that you're using like capitalization for each word here, but once I get down here, it's not the same. So that's a really nitpicky thing, but it's something that like, I'm just a stickler for details. And it can help. It's one of those things that can break trust without people being able to put their finger on it. The other thing that I will say is that if we're going with rounded edges for some of the images, like we have rounded here, we have rounded here, but then we're going back to square. And I think we have some square up here too. I would definitely, like some are squares, some are rectangles. From a branding perspective, I would get consistent with whichever direction you want to go. If you want to go square, great. Put squares for everything. But if we want to go with this rounded effect, which I think is really nice, give some of that element to a lot of the different, pieces of the page. Even if that's like using rounded elements in different pieces. So maybe like here you're using circles, and these ones have like square corners here, but they have rounded edges here. See how you can like bring those like little tiny details in the branding like throughout the page. Let me go to your shop. This is one other thing I'm noticing here. At the top right, I would remove the social media icons from the top right, because the last thing that you want to, this is also like this is like your most actionable part of the page, the top right. Right now, you're telling them, I don't want you to go on my website. I want you to go to Facebook and get distracted. This is what this does. So put these in the footer if they're not already there. So that way you still have them as links, but you don't want to drive people away from the website. It's hard enough to get people to your website. You want them to stay there. Okay, your work is freaking stunning, by the way. Last thing I will say. I would love to see a little bit more consistency with the product listings. So see how these are like, these rectangles, and then these, again, we're going back to square. Figure out which kind of shape you want to go with, right? And I would integrate that throughout the site. But yeah, your work is freaking amazing. Beautiful. Okay, cool. Hopefully that was helpful to you. I'm going to add you to the list here. I can't believe we've already done 11. That's crazy. Page.com. Okay. All right. Someone added this one, which I don't know if that was a joke or not. Please let me know if this is a joke, because this is literally like saying like CapCut.com or something. Unless it's like a person that actually works at Veed. Please let me know in the chat. If you're just joining, hi, my name is Megan. You may have seen my video. I'm trying to help 100 small businesses. You can see we've already helped 11 by doing some website reviews, giving you some feedback. And yeah. All right, I'm not seeing anything about Veed. So I'm going to turn the camera back around, actually. All right. I've already gone over time, 16 minutes. I appreciate you guys being here so much. I'm going to be doing this every single day in February. So if I didn't get to your website today, I'm so sorry. I'm late for a mastermind about 16 minutes. So I have to go, but I will be back tomorrow and every single day in February. So join me tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining. I love you so much. Make sure to go to the link in my bio to grab the free website checklist. And thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.